Stampin' friends, it's Ayana Johnston here with another check this out video tutorial to show you. Today I want to show you how I made this distressed rose looking card. I did it with the new stamp set called Rose Wonder that's coming out January 5th in the New Occasions catalog. You can get the supply list for this card on my blog at www.checkthisout.stampinup.net. So let's get started making this beautiful card. To make this card, I used two of the new stamp sets in the Occasions catalog. I used the Rose Wonder, and I used the large rose here as well as the Sentiment Wedding Wishes, and then I also used the Wishing You a Marriage Made in Heaven sentiment. With this, there is a great bundle, and I used this beautiful framelit in the Rose Garden Thinlit bundle. So you can get these together and save 15%. Great deal. Then I also used the Timeless Textured stamp set, and I used this beautiful circular design as well as the splatter. For stamps, I used Wisteria Wonder and Elegant Eggplant, as well as I need some Versamark ink. You'll also be needing some silver embossing powder, and then the silver 5/8 inch ribbon. For cardstock, you're going to need a piece of Elegant Eggplant, and you're going to want to cut this at 5.5 by 8.5 and score it at 4 1/4. You're also going to need another piece of the Elegant Eggplant, cut at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Then you'll need 2 sheets of Smoky Slate, and you're going to want to cut both of these sheets of Smoky Slate at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then you'll need one more piece of Smoky Slate cut at 4 inches by 4 inches, as well as a scrap piece of Smoky Slate. So actually 4 pieces of Smoky Slate. You'll need a piece of Whisper White, and this Whisper White you're going to want to cut at 3 3/4 by, you're going to want to cut at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. You'll need a sheet of Old Olive, and you're going to want a long piece of Old Olive. You'll need to cut this at 3 3/4 by 6 1/4. And then you'll need some nice ice rhinestones for the very last part of the making of the card. Okay, so first what I want to do is stamp my image on my Smoky Slate of the rose, and then I'm going to cut it out. You're going to want to stamp that image so you have a nice outline that you can cut out and distress. I'm going to stamp it with Elegant Eggplant. And I'm going to mark up my rose, just the rose part. Next, I'm going to take my 2 pieces of paper. I'm going to use my Old Olive and my Elegant Eggplant piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead and run this through and get a nice frame made out of my rose with the Elegant Eggplant. I don't need the top leaf parts. And then I'm going to do the same with my Old Olive, because in this one I just need the leaves. So I'm going to go cut those out with my Big Shot, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I have both of my pieces. I'm just going to punch out anything left in there. That new precision brush, I don't quite have it yet, works out great for punching these out, I've definitely heard. So now that I have those 2 pieces, all I need to do is cut out the pieces that I need. I only need the rose, so I'm going to trim off my excess here, and then I only need the leaf, so I'm going to trim off what I don't need on this part as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my wonderful flower right here and I'm going to create a little distressed look by crushing it in my hands, and then I'm going to stamp around the edges to give it that little distressed look on my rose. Once I get done with that, I'm going to take some two-way glue and adhere that on my rose, so that way I get this nice layered effect with the distressed look right behind it. Now as the rose starts to dry, you're going to want to add a little two-way glue around the edges so that way it sticks just a little better, because you've crumpled it up, so you want to make sure all of that rose gets around the edges. And then there, look at the beautiful rose. Then I just add an ice rhinestone. And we'll set this aside. And now I want to show you how I made the background image with the Whisper White piece of paper and some Wisteria Wonder, because it's just a lighter image for my background. All I did was I stamped my textured circular image all around using the Wisteria Wonder. Next, I'm going to take the Versamark ink with my splattered design and stamp all around it, and then I'm going to use some silver embossing powder and sprinkle that over and heat emboss it. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. Next, we're going to go ahead and tie our ribbon around the bottom. And you need probably a little more than 6.5 or so inches. I'd probably go a little longer just to be safe. You can always cut it off. Next, I'm going to adhere this to my piece of smoky slate, and then I'm going to also adhere this to my card base. Next, I'm going to adhere my rows, but what I'm going to do with the rows is I'm going to put Stampin' Dimensionals on the rows and on my leaves, so I can just position the leaves on the back of my rows where I want them, and so they'll adhere really well to the back of this card. Next, I'm going to take my scrap piece of smoky slate and stamp my sentiment, Wedding Wishes, using the Elegant Eggplant. And then I'm going to cut off a nice banner, or make a banner right here. And then I'm going to quickly edge around this. And look at that card, isn't it beautiful? For those of you that like to stamp the inside of your card, I took that other piece of smoky slate on this card, and then I just stamped the images here, and then I wrote or stamped wishing you a marriage made in heaven and a lifetime blessed by God. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to stop by my website at www.checkthisout.stampinup.net for some more great ideas, and I've got a great customer offer special going on, and it's a great time to use it with the nice occasions catalog coming out. Happy stamping!